international destinations like Hong Kong, Nigeria, Mauritius, and Nepal for presenting papers and participating in conference. Sir has published 3 books and several research papers in referred national and international journals. Sir is a recognized guide for PhD at VTU, AIMA, and Jain University. Sir also writes his blog, that is http slash anilgharak.blogspot.com. Today, Sir is going to talk about investment opportunities in post-pandemic scenario. Uh, this is the today's topic, and Sir currently working as a promoter director of ISB Infrastructure Private Limited, Pune. So this is a small introduction about Anil sir. Sir, session is over to you, sir.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
are you able to, yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for the introduction.
Yes.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Does the screen show the college name and the meeting details?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. Good morning, all of you. It is a great pleasure for me to be a part of this webinar series that is being done from 3rd August to 8th August. I was contacted by East West Institute of Technology and asked whether I would be able to give this small session on investment opportunities in post-COVID scenario. It was a pleasant surprise for me because it's been 3 years now that I have stopped being an academic. I have started being an entrepreneur myself. I floated 2 companies in construction technology. We are doing steel buildings. We are building large hostels, churches, etc. and I've been trying to set up engineering consultancy also. Since I am an engineer, I have started an engineering consultancy also. With that background, first of all, I would like to thank East West Institute of Technology for thinking it fit that I would be able to deliver this session. I know there are a lot of students, a lot of faculty members from various institutes, various MBA institutes participating in this program. And when I asked Professor Santosh yesterday, I asked him, what would you expect? He said, sir, expectation is you should try to find out what is the expectation and try to deliver according to the expectations. So in my thinking, in my assessment, I thought I would prepare a new presentation completely. Usually what I would have done is I would have rolled over some presentation, but I thought let's do something very, very interesting. Let's do something very original. That's why I insisted to Professor Santosh that kindly record this entire session, because this is going to be very interesting from now on. Okay, so this is the background of investment opportunities. Now let's straight away go to what we are going to see. And this is what we have been seeing, we have been hearing from a lot of people, that the era that in which we live is going to be known as after Corona, and the era that we lived earlier before March is going to be known as before Corona. I would like to differ a little bit and say that it was before Corona, and from now onwards it will be along with Corona. There is nothing like after Corona happening. And the new normal is such that we are going to stay with this Corona, just like we stayed with the Spanish flu. When 1918, 1920, when the Spanish flu came, It was a big, it was a very, very big pandemic. People lost lives, and slowly the human race got accustomed to it. And these days, the same flu comes for once a year. It comes to you. Each one of us sometimes stays with us for a week and goes away. We get some antibiotics and it goes away. That also is a viral fever. So similarly, we may have to stay with this corona for some time to come. That said, let us look at what will be the new normal. The first thing that happens with the new normal is what we are doing today. We are conducting a webinar instead of conducting a full-fledged conference. We are not doing, if we were conducting this kind of a conference, these 3rd August to 8th August, these 5 or 6 days of sessions would have been finished off in 2 days. Each one of us would have traveled to East West Institute of Technology, we would have done registrations, we would have had breakfast in the morning, we would have had an inaugural session, and then we would have had these sessions for 2 days. And after this, in between, we would have had lunch, and we would have had a tea break, etc., etc. A lot of paraphernalia along with the talks, or rather along with the sessions. But today we are in this session from our homes, from our offices, from our places wherever we sit, and we are attending this session. So that is the first normal that has happened. Social distancing is going to be the biggest normal. People who live in congested cities, people who live in cities where you breathe down each other's necks, slowly things are going to change. Malcolm Gladwell had once written, he had said that, he had talked about human behavior. And there in his book he had said, people from the countryside, that is people from suburban areas or from villages, they usually maintain a larger distance between, there is a human to human distance is supposed to be something like 2 or 3 meters, and people talk to each other standing apart. But as you come to the cities, maybe, if you go to Bombay, people talk to you as, they are so close to you when they talk to you that probably you breathe in what they breathe out. So, social distancing that way keeps on decreasing as the population density keeps on increasing. Now, because of this virus pandemic, because of COVID-19, you will see the reverse happening. People will start moving away from each other. Another new thing that has happened is the ultra awareness of cleanliness, health, hygiene, sanitization. Okay, why this slide of the new normal? Because this slide is going to give us the insight into what are the investment opportunities. So I'm not losing sight of what is the crux of the presentation. What I'm doing is I'm trying to build up a case here. So ultra awareness, people are now extremely aware of cleanliness, of health, of hygiene, of sanitization. The awareness level has increased so much that every sugar factory which had a distillery has started making sanitizers. Every pharmaceutical industry which was just doing some kind of other medicines, some kind of hygienic equipment also has started making sanitizers. All FMCG companies have started making sanitizers. There is a great emphasis on manufacturing sanitizers, on manufacturing hand wash, on manufacturing masks, on manufacturing various hygiene equipments. Then what else is happening? Healthcare has moved, it's slowly moving, sometimes rapidly moving from symptomatic treatment to holistic treatment. People used to make fun of yoga, they used to make fun of Ayurveda, etc. Thinking that this was something which was a long drawn process, may not be able to cure the modern diseases, etc. But now you find people are turning towards holistic treatment, they are turning towards yoga, they are turning towards Ayurveda, etc. Why? Because now they think that prevention of disease is much more better than the cure of disease. And then the next one, the biggest change that has come about in these times, that is work from home. Earlier, when my brother-in-law used to work from home, he works in IBM. It was a novel thing. It was something very interesting. We used to say, "Oh, this man works from home, and he sits in his room and starts working, and he's available at your beck and call anytime you want. If there is some task to be done at home." Now the new normal is most of them are working from, even teachers for that matter. A lot of school teachers, a lot of college teachers have started teaching from the confines of their homes, and the children are studying from their homes. So learn from home and teach from home has become the new normal. So in the last 3 months, if you watch your friends, if you look at your LinkedIn profile and your friends in the LinkedIn profile, your friends on Facebook, etc., you will find that most of them have done at least one certification program, some new learning during these 3-4 months of confinement. So people have not just sat at home, they have tried to improve themselves. They have tried to do something to help them in their careers. You know, a few days back, a few years back, if somebody told you that everything is going to be e-commerce in the next 2 years, next 3 years, you would have laughed. You would have said, why are people building so many malls, and why are people building so many brick and mortar uh, stores? There's no need to have e-commerce kind of thing. Or maybe one would have said, if the e-commerce is only for busy people, it's only for people who are tech savvy, who are busy, etc. It's not for the aam janta. But now what has happened? Anybody and everybody is placing orders via this mobile. And people are using e-commerce like nobody's business. When the Indian government started talking about digital payments, about Beam app or about Google app and these kinds of wallets, etc., the transfer from the adoption of this e-commerce platforms, the adoption of these digital payments was a little sluggish. It was not so fast. But these 4 months, as they say, the chasm has been crossed, and all those early adapters, all those innovators, all those early adapters are now far behind, and the entire population has jumped in on this e-commerce bandwagon. One very important thing that we should also start looking at is what kind of business we are in, or what kind of business should we invest in. And these 4 months have taught us what is essential and what is non-essential business. There was a time when we used to buy shares of PVR or Inox thinking that, oh, there's a new movie coming, new Shah Rukh Khan movie coming, a new Salman Khan movie coming. And therefore, PVR or Inox will start making money, so let's jump into the bandwagon. Nowadays, we have realized that this is not an essential business. The essential business is roti, kapada, makan or data. And therefore, people who are in this business, in these businesses have started doing well extremely. 3-4 months back, during February end and March, with start of March, the Indian investing population, stock market investing population, investors in stock markets, they had almost written off Bharti Airtel, they had almost written off MTNL, they had almost written off Vodafone Idea, and they had thought that these companies are going to die because Jio has come in, and Jio is going to break their backs. What happened in the last 3 months? All these companies plus Jio has been doing extremely well. Why? Because of the top four: work from home, e-commerce, teach from home, etc. And there is something I call the uncrowding of economy or the decongestion. At the start of May, Mark Zuckerberg sent in an email and announced to his people, he said, we will be predominantly working from home, there's no need to come to the office. That was one. Secondly, he also said that you are free to go to the countryside and live in suburban areas. If you want to go to your village and live, not a problem, you won't stay in the village. There was an item of news from Microsoft. That Microsoft had recruited people from Indonesia, from Vietnam, from other APAC countries, from India also. During this lockdown, they have recruited, they have made them join the company, and they have started working. But nobody has gone to Palo Alto, nobody has gone to US, everybody is staying in their homes and working. That's the uncrowding of the economy. The uncrowding of the economy also means there is a cost of the new normal. All these things means there is a cost. If you are running a business, you are now going to have an extra cost of maintaining cleanliness, extra cost of maintaining hygiene, extra cost of doing deep cleaning when somebody is infected, extra cost of maintaining the social distance, extra man hours spent on people moving around and coming to your place. If you are, let's say, you are running, basically in manufacturing industries, let's say Tata Motors, they were running buses to ferry their people from their households to the factory. What happened? They had to triple the number of buses because of social distancing. Earlier, there were people who used to sit, 2 people used to sit on a seat. Now, 1 person sits on 2 seats, 3 seats. So that kind of social distancing has meant that more buses are pressed into service, and that's a big cost. People who have to come into a shift at 8 o'clock have to reach the factory gate at 7 o'clock because they have to go through all the standard operating procedures to enter the factory. That's a big cost. There is a big cost to the new normal. And of course, there is a cost reduction also. Facebook, again, Mark Zuckerberg said very clearly, he said, if you are going to the countryside, if you are planning to stay in the villages, then your salaries will be benchmarked with village salaries. So you will have to take a cut because the cost of living will go down. So either way, there are issues in the new normal. Let's go to what are the new trends? Where do we find places to invest? The first thing that comes to mind, eating out has been one of the major spending habits in the country, especially with the population, the millennial population. And suddenly, because of the lockdown, all eateries were closed, restaurants were closed, people have now started, the restaurants have started, but people are still wary of going to the eateries. And this is going to continue, it's not going to stop. Because as long as the population gets the confidence that this pandemic is gone, people will still be wary, they will not jump into restaurants, they will not jump upon each other. So therefore what happens, ready to eat foods is one important segment which has found a big market these days. If you go to Big Bazaar, you will find, earlier what used to happen, if you go to any factory, any shop, any clothes shop, where they are displaying clothes, you would find people were displaying formals, they were displaying what, casual formals, etc. But now if you go there, they say work from home special dresses are there. Even most of the these days, most of people do not go to these places. They are ordering online anyway. But still, then who would have thought that people would start now releasing movies on the OTT channel, releasing movies on the web, streaming them on the web was supposed to be for those films which were not big budget movies. Now that's not the case. You have big budget movies coming in on home entertainment platforms. That is a tremendous shift. When you look at the economics of entertainment, if you look at how a movie becomes 100 crore grosser or 200 crore grosser, making 100 crore grosser movie is not a big thing at all. All you need to do is print the movies or beam it into 200. Or, people talk of what 1,000 screens on Friday evening. 1,000 screens, each screen 4 times in a day, sometimes 10 times in a day, because of various malls, etc. But on an average 4 times in a day, each screen giving you something like 500 seats into 100 rupees as revenue. If you take an average thing, 500 into 100 is 50,000 rupees. And 50,000 rupees 4 times in a day is 2 lakh rupees. And 2 lakh rupees multiplied by 1,000 screens. There go your numbers. That makes it a big number. So, and that is for a day. So making, if the movie runs for a week, there you go, you have 100 crore movie straight away. Over and above all the endorsements, merchandise, etc. So that was a business that PVR, Inox, Reliance Media used to run. Suddenly, things have changed. Now, home entertainment is the new norm against public entertainment. We don't go to movies; we just download them these days. We want to see them streaming on Prime, Amazon Prime, or Z5, or wherever. The clamor for flats, apartments, high-rise buildings is vanishing. People are moving towards the countryside. Most people are interested in having a country home rather than a city apartment. Living in a country home, living in a 60-40 site with a small house in between and growing your own vegetables, growing your own regular needs around your house, is the new thing that people are looking at. And that means this is going to be a trend. And this trend will mean dispersion of population. This trend will also mean that people, of course, people will not have to travel too much, but people will be required to move products from various places to their goods. So that's where the logistics comes in. We'll come to it later on. Next trend that we are seeing is do-it-yourself food, do-it-yourself clothing. do-it-yourself dwelling, do-it-yourself maintenance. You have a plumbing problem at home, instead of calling a plumber, I think you better try to repair it yourself, because you don't know who is the where the plumber will go and touch what he would have touched earlier. You don't know what would have happened to the plumber's you know uh, hygiene. So, so are you? Should we say that we are Atmanirbhar even in this? Making your own food, trying to sew your own clothes, ironing your own clothes. The iron, the small shop where clothes are being ironed, they are facing huge amount of difficulties because people are not ready to give them the clothes to iron. One, they are not traveling outside. They are not moving out. Second, even if they move out, they would like to iron them themselves. And of course, fashion is fashion. Somebody has come up with crumpled clothes as the new fashion. That means there goes your ironing. That way, things are changing. Dine at home against dine in restaurants. People don't want to go to restaurants. That I think I spoke earlier also. Hygiene has become a big business. Contactless sport is becoming a big business. How many, I don't know, of you would have downloaded Ace 2 3 Rummy or Ludo on your mobiles and have been playing with your friends and relatives. PUBG is a big rage. That's a sport again these days. So people would like to play. I think some Rotary Club in a place where I stay, they had a tambola on the mobile phone. So, a lot of such sport, contactless sport is coming up, contactless entertainment is coming up. People are talking about having the IPL in Sharjah, where again you will be seeing in a stadium where 60,000 people can sit, there will be 20,000 people sitting. Not because it's an unpopular game, just because people are considering football is being played just for TV, not for anything else. A lot of sports will now be played only for TV, not for live audience. This has also increased family time. So the products that can be targeted for family time are in much demand. Yes, somebody wanted to say something. Uh, Connectivity has changed. Physical connectivity has given way to virtual connectivity. Another important thing that has happened is public transport is not being used. People want to use personal transport, not public transport. So this is one major change that we may see in the near future. What are the new investment opportunities? I think, what is the time now? It's around 11:10. What are the new investment opportunities? First thing that comes to mind is online business, virtual stores, drop shipping. As a stock market investor, you will find a lot of people, lot of companies are getting into online, getting into e-commerce. Therefore, they find a promise. You find a promise there. Reliance, they have various formats. There used to be a Reliance Mart. There used to be, now there is a Reliance Smart. There is a Reliance Market. There is Reliance Trends. There is Reliance Digital. All this said and done, they are now into GeoMart. And you could order things online. Ajio was already there, but was not doing so well earlier. So online business, even the largest of the guys are jumping into the online bandwagon. And that is going to be a new investment opportunity. If you want to make money now, this In 1999, 2000, there was something called as a dot-com bubble. And those people who had invested in dot-com companies then, internet companies then, lost money uh, very badly because internet e-commerce did not pick up the way it was expected to pick up at that time. Now is the time when whatever dreams were seen in 2000, in 2001, in 1999, 2001, those dreams of internet are now well within reach. Now you find a lot of people jumping into this business. Now is the time to get into e-commerce. Home offices, studio homes. Every house that was planned before March probably was planned like a 2 BHK, 1 BHK or something like that. Now the new thing that will come is 2 BHOK. There is a small O inside that because there is a home office that is going to be a part of it. A small study or a small office that is going to come. So if you are looking for a 2-bedroom house, I think you need to take one more room because you need to house your office there. So 5 years back, somebody said, bring your own. Somebody said, bring your own uh, device, BYOD. Now it says, bring your own office space too. That's how you need. That's how things are changing. So if you want a job, you need to have a desk at home where you can sit and work. Your employer will not provide you the desk, nor will he provide you the bandwidth. Probably he may provide you the bandwidth, but not the desk. So you need to have your device, your desk, and then you apply for a job. So that will change the way homes are being designed. That will change the way furniture is being bought. That will change the way electronic devices are being bought. The demand for small laptops, which were used only for internet, only for daily use, only for Microsoft Office, etc. That kind of demand has stagnated, but demand for higher end PCs, higher end laptops has gone up. Why? Because there are students who want to do engineering, students who want to work from home, who want to study from home. There are people who want to work from home. They need more computing power, more bandwidth. So there is a lot of change that's happening. As I said earlier, again, country homes. That's the new investment opportunity. You can buy country homes, rent them out. Or maybe you can buy shares of companies which are into country homes. Another new opportunity is hydroponics, greenhouses, smart agriculture, terrace gardens. There are companies in Bangalore. Some of my students work there. They are providing all kinds of, they are providing solutions for setting up your own terrace garden, your own terrace vegetable garden. People have quickly started adapting to hydroponics, with minimum inputs, less space. You could grow your own vegetables, grow your own dill, grow your own coriander, etc. Then of course greenhouses. Greenhouses would not have picked up the way they are picking up now. They are picking up now because a lot of investment has started flowing into agricultural sector, and people want to set up greenhouses so that they can grow vegetables, fruits, etc. under a controlled environment. Again, this controlled is because of the hygiene. Then there are ready-to-eat food makers, the ITCs, Godreges, Future Group, Reliance, more the Aditya Birla Group. A lot of these people have jumped into ready-to-eat food market. A big market has opened up for value-added agro products. Agro products were not so not so popular. People were not getting into value addition in agro products because people, the way things were different. But now, since everybody is going to cook at home, most of them are going to cook at home. The level of uh, preparing your own food has increased. Value-added agri products, value-added foods has become an imperative thing. All this calls for tremendous opportunity in logistics. When we say products are being delivered to your doorstep, when we say things are being delivered to your doorstep, somebody needs to do that delivery, and that is where logistics comes in. Logistics companies are mushrooming like anything. Warehousing and logistics companies together are mushrooming like anything, and there seems to be a big demand for warehousing, for cold storages, for cold chains. Since I am in the same business nowadays, uh, every day we get a lot of inquiries on building cold storages because suddenly people have realized that if they have to be into an essential business, then they have to be into cold storage. Then there is a huge demand again, which has come up for do-it-yourself products for home improvement, do-it-yourself products for self-grooming. That's another thing. The beauty parlor, the visit to the beauty parlor, the visit to the saloon has come down. You try to go to a saloon and try to find out. There were times when some popular hair cutting saloons you had to take an appointment, or, something like that. To a popular spa, you had to take an appointment. But now you don't need to take an appointment. People are sitting empty-handed. You can always walk in. Why? Again, social distance. So there are some huge opportunities which have come up, and there are opportunities which have gone. Some new businesses have come up, old businesses have gone. The way we did business before March 2020 is completely different from the way we do business from 2020 March. In March 2020, before the lockdown, there were a lot of social media experts who had said that if the pandemic breaks out, if as it is now, we have a huge amount of patients now, India would be short of PPE kits. And today, India is not short of PPE kits. In fact, India is a net exporter of PPE kits. People used to say N95 masks are not available at all in India. How are we going to fight this corona? They are available dime a dozen. So the market, the entrepreneur always responds faster than anybody else, and people find solutions where there are no solutions. The foot operated sanitizer vending machine, it's a jugaad. It's an Indian jugaad. It came in just like that within 10 days. And once somebody came up with a design, you will find that every fabricator in the city is doing it on his own. So a lot of innovation that has come up. That's another very important result of this pandemic. Those those Indians who were supposed to be in a stupor, who were supposed to be taking it easy, suddenly were jolted, and new innovators jumped in, took up the challenge, and developed products for fighting the pandemic. That's a very big thing that has happened to the country. The country is now more motivated than earlier. And this motivation will go in a long way. Once things start becoming normal or the new normal, you will find more and more innovators and more innovative products that will jump into the market, that will come into the market. Because now it has got people thinking on what to do next. Otherwise, this process was a little bit slower in the country. The new industries that we will be looking at is technological bankers, digital banking. Uh, Less said the better. Most of you have been now using digital banking, so digital banking is going to be the new trend in the industry. Those people who are not into digital banking, they'll fall back. Uh, Technological entrepreneurs, techpreneurs, tech enablers in all walks of life. We are not only talking about writing software for some supermarket in the American country, in the United States of America. We are talking of writing codes for converting for solving our own problems. That those techpreneurs are the ones who will be new industries. Then if there is going to be a retail outlet, and if you are going to a retail outlet, you would want that retail outlet to be as big as possible so that the distance between you and the next buyer would be more than 2 meters. So decongested stores, large format stores, the small format stores where a lot of people come in and products are dumped and you fall over one another to collect those products uh, will be a thing of the past. Large format stores is what companies are thinking. Reliance, in fact, is thinking in a big way in large format stores. So you will find spaced out things being spaced out. Smart logistics, companies in smart logistics will be the newest thing that will happen. When we say drop shipping is going to be a new business for those small mom and pop stores, those small retail stores on the busy street, if they are getting into drop shipping, that means that there will be somebody who will be doing smart logistics, picking up products and giving doorstep service. Doorstep service providers, Urban Clap, or any of them like that, are going to be the next thing. So, if any of you is planning an entrepreneurial venture, I think there is a big opportunity in being a doorstep service provider or a doorstep service arranger. If you could not provide a service, at least you could arrange a service from somewhere. So that, using technology, that can be done. That itself is going to be a very big industry. Event management is one industry which has taken the biggest hit in these 4 months. So the event managers now have to adapt themselves to the new normal. See, human being is a social animal. You cannot keep the human being away from a human gathering for a long time. Human being would want to interact with a fellow human being, not virtually always, physically too. And because of that, because he or she has to mingle, has to find a way to mingle, a new normal will come up. Will have to come up for event managers, and event managers will figure it out. I'm 100% sure that they will figure it out to produce an event, to develop an event, and deliver an event to these people. I have come across a few event managers who have started floating on the media, on Facebook, on WhatsApp, circulating their brochures, saying that they would, if you are planning a marriage at home, they will arrange everything for only 50 people and will take care of hygiene, sanitation, that, this, and all paraphernalia. So, deep cleaning, etc. So, a new normal for the event managers is coming up. The large industry that is going to make an impact is the nutraceutical industry. Pharmaceutical is one thing, but nutraceutical is going to be the biggest beneficiary of this pandemic. The enhanced knowledge about our you know the rush for immunity, the awareness for good health, uh, for building good health is going to help this industry, the health building industry. Uh, 6 months back, in the building I stay, beside my building, somebody started a fitness equipment store. And since I stay in a residential area, fitness equipment store was not had not picked up sales. They just started and then lockdown came, so we had to close down. Recently, he has restarted. I was interacting with him and knowing fully well that there are too many fitness equipment sellers close by. I asked him what change do you find in this after reopen. He said I was getting a lot of inquiries. Why? Because people who were going to the gym now want to have a treadmill at home. People who, if you want to go to the gym, there is a big standard operating procedure, there is a lot of risk involved, physical contact involved. So I would rather buy some gymming equipment at home. So a mini gym or a micro gym is what is becoming a new rage. Slowly, it's picking up. I'm calling it slowly, but I know it's picking up very fast. People are clearly thinking, they're saying if I'm not able to go to the gym, instead of spending 12,000 rupees every year on the gym, I will spend 20,000 rupees, get a small micro gym or a mini gym and start using equipment in my house. That's a big business idea which is floating around. Then, of course, new age broadcasting, the OTT panel, the streamers, the entire platform has changed. Entertainment being streamed into your homes, entertainment being beamed into your homes via the dish, via the fiber optic, etc. So new age broadcasting has started. New age news carriers have started. Uh, Newspapers have started advertising, asking people, telling them that there is nothing like a newspaper and a cup of coffee in the morning. Or 3 months back, before March, no newspaper was advertising. Newspapers were only saying that we have the highest circulation, so come and advertise with us. Today, things have changed so much for the newspaper industry that they have to move to other platforms. And of course, the platform is the internet. Now, what is what is happening to the world? There was a time when if you had oil wells, you were supposed to be rich. Now crude oil is languishing at a very low rate, not expected to go up at all, because most of the consumption of the crude oil, not through vehicles, but most of it was being done for heating. Heating is a very big uh, consumer of oil. Solar has taken over. Non-conventional energy has taken over, and therefore you find that oil is slowly losing its value. And since oil is losing value, saying that data is going to be the new oil, and the day is not far when money, as we know it, will also be redundant. Uh, I had I have been going around the city. I stay in a city, in a small town called Belgaum, and I've been roaming around the city last 2 3 months after the uh, lockdown was over, and I have never found that I needed my purse. The amount of cash that I have been spending is much less, because all that I would be spending is through this my mobile phone. Our banks now have become a part of our earning source as well as our spending destination. When you, when you work for a company, you get a salary gets credited in your bank account, and when you spend through the bank account. You don't even touch the physical cash. And if you are spending on Amazon.com, Amazon.com has its own Amazon Pay. So what has happened? We have been dealing earlier also with currency. Now digital currency is the new name of the game. And the day is not far. Once everything is digitized, the day is not far when Ethereum or Bitcoin or something else will simply take over. And blockchain will be the next boom. It is coming, it's on the way. Only thing is governments are they are not happy with the Bitcoin. Why? Because they cannot print money once Bitcoin comes in. But you know, you cannot stop progress. You cannot stop something that the population wants. That is that is the name of the game. So it's high time that we will find digital currency coming in. And our phone, which has become our bank, which has become our neighborhood store, it has become our workplace, it has become our entertainment avenue, it has become our school, it is our family, it is our identity, it is our stockbroker, it is our stock exchange, the phone is our doctor, it is our mentor, anything. Everything has come into this. 2003, when Dhirubhai Ambani was still alive, he said, "Kar lo duniya muthi mein," and people laughed at it. They said, "Oh, what is this? Kar lo duniya muthi mein." They started making fun. But today, you find everybody has done his dunya in this muthi. The smartphones are replacing a lot of products and lot of services. This is going to be the new oil. Data is going to be a new oil, and the pipeline of that data is going to be the biggest thing that is there. Let me share a small example once more. uh, these companies which provide internet connectivity, first they used to provide it saying that you pay 1,000 rupees and you get unlimited data. Then they put a cap that you can get 200 GB data per month. Okay, people started using it. Then they said we will increase the speed, so they increased the speed. They said we will give you 100 Mbps. Now imagine, you are giving 100 Mbps speed, your 200 GB will be over in 2 days. Then you have to top up. So you give a bigger pipe and say I'll give you so much water. The water gets exhausted, used up. That's what is going to happen. So this is one thing that one new thing that is going to come. So if you are happy saying that I'm going to save money on petrol because I'm not going to go go to the office, or I'm going to save money on transportation because I'm not going to the office daily, I think all that money that you're going to save on your transportation, you're going to spend on your data. So be aware. Don't be so happy that you will be saving money. they'll find a way to take that money out from you. Yes, we'll go to our the core of our presentation. What should we look for in a company to invest? First thing that you should look for is promoter's background. I've put up some photographs of various popular promoters or notorious promoters also. And you can see their very popular faces. What you should look for? You should look for whether the promoter is sincere. Sincere in doing what? Sincere to his shareholders. Whether the promoter uh, is professional, whether he encourages professionalism, whether the promoter is forward thinking, whether he knows what he is doing, whether he has a vision, whether the company is going forward. Then whether the promoter is an eagle or a vulture. Lot of promoter, you find some people are vultures. They will deliberately kill a company and eat up its assets. Or they become eagles and soar the company, they take the company to newer heights. So try to find out whether the promoter is an eagle or a vulture. I would not like to name any of these. I'm just putting the photographs. I'm not naming any people here. Just this is an example. Then you also look at whether the promoter is ethical or unethical. If the promoter is ethical towards his business, ethical towards his shareholders, ethical towards his employees, then right company to invest in. If he is unethical, not the right company to invest in. What you do is look at the promoter's background. You look at the company also, past financial performance, whether the company has been doing good earlier, past shareholder rewards, whether the company has rewarded shareholders. You know, a 10,000 rupees invested in Wipro in 1981 would be worth 700 crore rupees today. 10,000 rupees invested in Infosys in 1993-94 when the Infosys was had come with an IPO would be worth around 200 crore rupees today. So whether the company has built wealth or whether the company has only amassed wealth, whether it has made wealth for itself, whether the promoter has made money for himself and left the investors high and dry, is something that you need to study. Try to find out whether the company has global connections. These days, the globe is a village, the world is a village, so everything is interconnected. So if the company has global connections, it can bring in technology from outside or sell something from here, then I think that's a company which one should invest in. And finally, all companies are made up of people. So try to find out what is their human resource profile. Where do you get this? If you open the annual report, not the abridged one, the detailed one annual report, if you download, you will find there are 6, 7 pages, sometimes 10 pages devoted to giving you the names of those employees and those people who get higher salaries. A list of companies, list of people who get higher salaries. That tells you, that piece of data not only tells you how much salaries they get, but it also tells you what is the profile, what are their qualifications, how much experience do they have. So human resource profile is a very, very important thing. Of course, the director's profile is available in the director's report. So that also is a big pointer towards what kind of people are running the company. So that's what we look at. And then finally, you also look at the financials. You look at profitability, whether the company is doing, whether it is generating cash profits, whether it is operating, whether it has good operating profits, what are its net profit margins, operating profit margins, whether the company is experiencing growth in sales and profits or experiences degrowth. What is in India? We always look at PE ratio. We say price to earnings ratio is something which we are very fond of. So we look at the PE ratio and compare it with comparable companies. Try to find out whether the PE ratio is lower than the comparable companies. Then it's a good investment bet. If it is very high, then we say okay, let it come down. Let's see. And of course, instead of looking at the EPS, I would prefer looking at the CEPS, the cash EPS, because that tells you whether there is cash flow happening in the company. And finally, nowadays since the market had gone down after the lockdown, and even now the market is not at the highest levels as it was in January. So there are a lot of companies where the market price is lower or very near to the book value of the company. And if they are into the right businesses, as we discussed earlier, if they have been doing profitable, if they are innovative, then I think they are the right companies to buy. I'm sorry, in a public forum, I am not allowed to give you names of companies. It's against the rules of SEBI. So all I would say is these are the investment themes, not rather than saying this is the company to invest in. So look at those companies, look at these various parameters, and figure out for yourself whether these companies are responding to the change that is happening. And if they are responding, then I think they are the right companies to invest in. Okay, so the conclusion, those businesses which adapt to the new reality will survive and create wealth for their investors. Others will just perish. This is the truth. This will remain the truth. This is what will happen even otherwise. But since times are changing fast, they have to adapt the reality faster and survive. So there's the board caution, changing business conditions ahead. Now let's take questions. I think I was supposed to start at 10:30 and give you a question answer session at 11:30. But since we started 10 minutes late, I ended 10 minutes late. Now we are open for questions. It's 11:45, so we have enough time for questions. And I would be very happy to answer your questions. Yeah.
Sir?
Yes.
Uh,
Yes, Mr. Kiran. Yeah.
Question, sir. We'll take the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, let's take questions.
Yes, sir. For the participants, do you have any questions? You can type it in the chat box. So give us a moment. We
Yeah,
are
yeah.
collecting it.
Yes, yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah,
There's a question.
yeah.
Which is the best investment plan in present scenario?
Investment plan as in?
Present scenario.
Yeah. Investment plan means what? What is the objective?
For the savings.
Okay. What I would suggest is, if you are not so familiar with stock markets, the best thing to do is invest in mutual funds. Invest in something like a multi-cap mutual fund. Don't invest in a large cap mutual fund. because large caps have already run. So there is something called as large cap and small cap and mid cap, etc. But there is something called as a multi cap fund also, or a hybrid fund, where mutual funds will keep moving from one asset class to another asset class. I think that is the right fund to invest in right now. And I think if you are young and if you start young, with in if you start with an SIP, with a systematic investment plan, I think you are in for a huge amount of wealth accumulation, because this century is going to be India's century, and you are very lucky to be in 2020 in India. And if you are going to be alive for the next 30 years, I think you would have made a huge amount of money in these markets. So a systematic investment plan is the right kind of approach.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So there's a question on cryptocurrency.
Ha.
Is it applicable in India?
See, as of now, you are not allowed to buy and sell cryptocurrency. But what I said in the presentation also is that that is going to be the future. Whether cryptocurrency will come, I would call it digital currency. Whether it will come in the form that it is there now, or whether it will come in a different form, is a question of debate. But surely there is going to be a digital form of currency which will take over the entire financial system, and probably, the entire world will be using the same digital currency. It's in the making. I think time has come.
Okay. Sir, is there any difference between the cryptocurrency and the bitcoins?
Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Bitcoin, Ethereum, these are all cryptocurrencies.
Okay, fine. There's one more question, sir.
Yeah.
Which is the best sector to invest in the present scenario?
I think I gave a hint earlier also. You just make a different. You just try to differentiate between essential businesses and non-essential businesses. The fast-moving consumer goods, the companies which produce goods which are consumed on a regular basis are going to be the best. That's going to be the best bet. One second best bet would be infrastructure, because a lot of infrastructure is going to be developed by the government, and they are going to spend huge amounts of money on infrastructure. The third best would be logistics companies, because all these products have to reach the doorsteps of logistics companies. So these are the three different sectors which are the best bets these days. Kindly don't ask me to name companies in these sectors, because that goes against the law. So I think,
yeah, there's a last
limit
question,
ourselves
sir.
to say this. Yeah.
How about investing in gold market as gold rate is increasing?
Somebody who asked this question, I would like to ask a counter question. Gold is an asset. If you quote Warren Buffett, gold is an asset which has little utility. You buy gold, you keep it, and then you sell it when you require money. It doesn't add any value to the economy as such. And why gold has gone up now? Because of the risks that have gone up in the markets. But once the risks subside, the gold will come back to its original levels, whatever is the acceptable original level. But since it has gone up too much, from 35,000 to 56,000 for 10 grams in the last year, I think such a big run-up requires a pause. And my personal feeling is that gold is not an investment avenue right now. It's not. I don't think it is the right time to do to make investments now. I think the run is over. So there's no point in getting into gold in these times.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. There's no other questions. Would you like to add anything else, sir, on apart from this? We are going to wrap up before that.
I'm looking at the people who are participating. The names of people who are participating, and I find a lot of faculty members are also there a part of this thing, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Most of
Yeah,
them are faculty members.
yeah, most of them are faculty members. So I would like to address the faculty members a little bit. I know most of you are experienced. I spent 20 years teaching, so I thought I would like to say a few things to the faculty members. What I would like to say is, as teachers, we are in a situation which is highly challenging. Now, what is this challenge? The first challenge that is there is we are competing with this device. We are competing with this device. Remember, today a good teacher is not somebody who can give you information. Today, a good teacher is somebody who can process that information and give you an insight. So the teachers who are who are teaching now have to put in a little bit of more effort into thinking about what is the impact of all the information that is available and give the students some insight. What would happen otherwise is a student comes to the class and you give him information as earlier you have been giving information, you just transfer information. He would say this is available on the internet, why should I come to the class? That is one. Second, there are so many private companies which have come into education and they have been doing extremely well by giving video lectures, etc. Khan Academy is there, so many Coursera is there. So they have been putting in a lot of effort in developing content. So rather than developing content, what I would insist on the teachers is you don't develop content, you develop insight, you develop wisdom and transfer wisdom. The person who gives wisdom, the person who gives insight is the real guru, not the person who gives information. There are hundreds of people who are now giving information. So forget about giving information. Try to develop insights. That is one. Secondly, when you approach a class, please remember that the students now are 20 years ahead of you. They are much smarter. It's not that if somebody cannot communicate or if somebody cannot put across things, does not mean that he is not smarter. That student is still smart. If you ask him something, he may not answer, but he will go back to the internet and find out what it is. So what will happen is, when everything is available, he would say, why should I use my memory? I will not use my memory. So the student does not want to use his memory, does not want to jog his memory. So remembering information is not the new norm. The new norm is developing wisdom, developing insight out of that information. So my only fervent appeal to all the teachers is try to develop that kind of ability in yourself and transfer it to the students. Another thing for the teachers is teachers, please upload more and more on the internet. I remember in 1999 when I was teaching in IMER in Belgaum, we had called Professor Sadgopan from IIIT Bangalore. Professor Sadgopan was the director then. I think he is the director emeritus or something. He was a pioneer in Indian Institute of Information Technology. And that day he had asked a question to all the teachers. We had a small meeting with the teachers. And that day he had asked the question to all the teachers, which I keep repeating whenever I find teachers around me. He asked us a very simple question. He said, "You all download things from the internet. What have you uploaded today?" That is the question. Please answer this question to yourself every day. Try to find out what you have uploaded today. That's the reason why I said, I asked the organizers also. I said, please record this session. Let us put it up on internet. Unless we upload things to the internet, we will not be able to download good things from the internet. Unless we upload good things, we cannot download good things. Otherwise, we will simply upload bad things. So that is my forward appeal to all the teachers in this group. Please start uploading. And once you start uploading on the internet, you will find that you will grow as an individual, you will grow as a brand, you will grow your business, you will grow your personality. Yes, Professor Kiran.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. It
My
was a wonderful session, and definitely we will be adopting that, and we will start uploading our content to the internet.
please do. Please.
The session was very informative.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Uh, yes. So it's very honor to have you as a guest speaker for this
My pleasure.
series, sir, and we really
And,
honor. Uh,
and I'm very sorry for the delay. There was some glitch in the wiring, so I have gone up to correct it.
no problem, sir. That's okay. It's fine. Thank you for all the participants being the part of the webinar series. We would like to see you for tomorrow's session. The announcement will be updated soon. So, thank you once again, Anil sir, on behalf of
Thank
our
you.
department and college. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.